All right, welcome back, everybody. It is the Awesemo.com NHL DFS strategy show. We've got just a two-gamer, pretty much two gamers from here on out, and maybe a couple three, depending on how this schedule actually works out. Just me today, no Cliffy, but we're just gonna go through the games quickly per usual, and then you guys can tell me what you want me to talk about if we have any questions or anything like that. Hopefully you had some success last night because if you didn't have Dallas, just a weird night of hockey. We were on Islanders 1 quite a bit. Islanders 2 went nuts. Bailey got the empty netter to kind of seal the deal. That Islanders 2 was going to be the nuts. Let me go to this tournament and see what ultimately ended up winning. Lineup study isn't loaded for the slate yet, but we're going to check this out. And looks like, okay, so yeah, this was the case. A guy tied on DK, Pavelski, Gurianov, and then I think this guy had oh no, he didn't have a different lineup. The Czech had a different lineup. Anyways, Janmark wasn't in the lineup. Surprise scratch. Even if you had a bunch of Heiskanen, which I did, I didn't have these two stacks together. So ultimately did not end up going super well for me, but I got back 76.7% of my entries. So could have been much, much worse. Thought I was in a pretty good spot when I went to bed, and then I woke up and there were 7 unanswered goals for Dallas. So not often that happens. 2-game slate just flipped the standings on its head. Triple defenseman actually ended up taking it down. Now that I look at this a little bit closer, Pulock, Heiskanen, and Carlson, there wasn't a lot of high-scoring defensemen. But the Dallas 4-man, Pavelski, Gurianov, Heiskanen. You had to have those guys. 4 goals for Gurianov. Pavelski, huge game. So Cliffy was on it. He talked me on to Dallas 2 a little bit. But when and this happens all the time, you go and then you end up making your lineups hours later. And, you like your exposures. But then I left off more Dallas 2 than I should have. Either way, they weren't popular. So even if you didn't have enough, you could have competed in this tournament. So anyways, hopefully you Dallas 2 players ended up on top and Islanders 2 players. Because I think this lineup left a bunch of salary on the table. And this is where I wish I had lineup study loaded, because it'd be nice to see exactly how much salary instead of me doing mental math. So if you guys want to add those up and tell me how much salary this person left off, had 2 of the same lineups. So it was not a cash lineup that ended up making the large field GPPs. That is always a good thing for me, selfishly. I think for a lot of you guys, build stacking lineups, even on 2-game slates. Correlation matters a little bit less, but it still does matter. 3-2-1 ended up taking this down. So pretty cool stuff. Congrats to anyone who had Dallas 2 and Islanders 1. Yahoo's got some NHL tournaments going on for today. If you're looking to build your bankroll, I saw a couple people had success over there in our Slack. No $12 a day, but they've got $100 at first and they're $3. Yahoo, one of the best places to start building your bankroll, or if you're struggling on other sites, Yahoo is a great place to again build up your bankroll. They've got a $1 and a $3 today. It's not huge prizes, but money's money. ROI, positive ROI is a positive ROI, and I think you're gonna have a better chance doing that over on Yahoo. If you want to sign up through us, you get a little extra bonus. You get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points when you use promo code Awesemo. And I play over there quite a bit. I was really enjoying the 4-game slates, 4 and 5 game slates when they were having them over there, and I was having a bunch of success. And then You know, 2 gamers. I don't know if I'm going to be around at lock tonight, but I'm playing because we've only got, 15, no, probably like 20, 30 slates left. And then depending on when they start the season, quick layoff, probably going to be a shortened off season. Shortened off season for the teams that actually made it to the playoffs. I guess the 10 teams or whatever that, or the 8 teams that didn't, or 7, I can't remember how many teams there are. 31, I think, with Vegas added a couple years ago. Anyways, those teams will have quite the layoff, almost 10 months. I see you guys, the loyal fans of the show, coming in chat. How's it going? Keegster, Gus, Clayton took down the $12 and the $5 single entry and $7 multi on FanDuel. $31 in entry fees turned into $530. That's pretty good ROI. And you shouldn't you should play all the single entries that are within your bankroll. Even if you're a mass multi-entry player, play in those single entries, because if you do hit, you could play unique lineups. I like to play unique lineups across the single entry tournaments. Gives myself a better chance to win one of them, not necessarily win all of them. It is really nice when you win a bunch of tournaments in one night, or have that screenshot on DraftKings when everything is to the right, and it's one lineup and it's super clean. But I like to spread my single entries out. So congrats to Clayton. That's, what is that? Almost 20x ROI, 20x your entry fees in one night. That's pretty tough to do. So congrats, especially in NHL, because the prize, you can't bank 100K in NHL very often. So congrats, Clayton. Appreciate you tuning in. We do have cheat sheets for today. Or I guess a cheat sheet. It's got DraftKings, FanDuel, all that stuff. Whoops, that's not the correct link. Hold on a second. I don't think you guys can see that one. Here you go. Here's the cheat sheet for today. Can you, if a few of you guys could click on that and tell me, some people have been saying they've been seeing previous days when they go on that, but as you see, this is the cheat sheet for today. So I don't know if it's something I'm doing when I'm posting it or what, but anyways, just a couple plays I like. If you're playing cash, this might be helpful to you. So give that a look and make sure that you're seeing today's stuff. Yeah, lineup study isn't loaded. Otherwise, I would pull your lineup up. But I'm assuming it was some sort of Dallas 2 stack. Gurianov, Pavelski, Hiskinen. Nice job, regardless, even though we can't see the lineup. Now, 3-2-1 took it down last night. That's the stack I did a lot of. So, kind of. Okay, the date's right. Everything's good. You're seeing players that are on the slate from today. All right. Good to hear. I like 3-2-1 a lot, and so it's kind of disappointed I didn't have something that was competing. In fact, we can go to mine quick. I think my best was 26. 26. So this was my best lineup. I swapped onto this scrub. And he ended up getting an assist. Man, if Eberle, so this is one where if I go Islanders 2 instead of Islanders 1, I'm pretty sure I win this tournament going away. But I would have left a ton of salary on the table. So I'm surprised Islanders 2 Dallas 2 didn't sneak in for me. But that's the way it goes sometimes when you build with an optimizer instead of building by hand. 0 in the. If this was Bailey and Nelson, I think I probably win this tournament. But instead, Barzal, Eberle, I like them better anyways. So can't be too mad at myself. Not gonna work out every night. So that is the way it goes. Let's talk about tonight. 2.6 implied total for the Flyers, 2.4 for the Canadiens. Carter Hart and Carey Price are your goalies. And a couple things here. I'm sure you guys saw it, but Brendan Gallagher got smoked in the face with a cross-check was bleeding profusely. Ended up he had a broken jaw. Niskanen broke his jaw. So right now, FC had Gallagher on line 1. That's obviously not going to be the case. He's out for this game, and then if there is another game, he's out for that game as well. Kind of hard to play hockey with the broken jaw, and I'm sure that hurts a lot. So Niskanen will be out. We'll get him out of the lineup sheet. I think it's going to be Gostisbehere coming in. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I know he was the guy. Him and Hag have been in and out of this lineup, and so I think Gostisbehere probably comes in. Who plays with Provorov is a little bit important because they're going to get increased minutes, whether it's Sandheim, Myers, Braun. I'm not sure. I don't think it'll be Hag. I don't think it'll be Gostisbehere if he's in. So we'll have to see who actually is playing with Provorov. If you're around at lock, you might want to slide in a couple more Sandheim or Myers or whoever slides up because they're going to be in for a few more minutes. And I like Sandheim anyways, so I think you can play whoever there. Now, I'm treating this one like these are going to be the Philadelphia lines. This one kind of stinks. Okay, so Lawton's 4,600, and Ube Kubel and Van Riemsdyk were out last game. I don't know if it's an injury. They've been out the last couple of games. And if those two guys were with Derek Grant, I would actually have quite a bit of interest in Philly 3. Right now, I'm just kind of sticking to the top 2 lines. We don't have ownership just yet, so just looking at projections right now, it looks like that's where the majority of my Philadelphia exposure is going to be, to the top 2 lines. Shocking, I know. Well, on the Montreal side, Suzuki, Domi, and Drouin, they kept that line together for most of the game. And they scored 2 goals at 5-on-5. So I think they keep that line together. Right now I have it as Lehkonen slides up with Gallagher, and then Alex Belize, I can't remember how to pronounce his name. Alex B, this guy that is very, very cheap. I think he's $2,500. Anyways, he doesn't matter. But I think, or I'm sorry, it's not Suzuki, Drouin, and Domi. It is Armia instead of Domi. So I have Domi sliding down with Kakaniemi and Byron. Lehkonen sliding up in Gallagher's spot with Deneau and Tatar. That's just my guess right now. I think we're going to get lines before lock. So you can adjust accordingly if you're around. I think that's going to be a potential edge. I don't know if I'll be able to swap, but that's what I'm going with right now until I hear otherwise. Deneau, Tatar, Lehkonen, and then Suzuki, Drouin, and Yoel Armia. I like Armia as a play. I hope he's listed on the 4th line. He scored 2 goals last game. I just think he's way better than a 4th line player. I don't know what his deal is defensively, and I don't really care that much, but I just hope he gets a better role. Suzuki looked really good to me. Again, eye test. I certainly don't have the best eye for talent, not even close. I don't know a lot of the nuances of actual hockey, but just from watching him, and I know he's a huge, he was one of the best prospects coming up, super high draft pick and everything. So maybe he's just taking the next step. He looked awesome to me. Maybe he can turn Drouin into something that resembles a decent DFS play, and then Armia can score. So I like that Montreal 2 line. I think whoever Suzuki's with, they're going to get the better matchup here for Montreal. Like, taking Gallagher off that top line isn't the end of the world. I still think you can go Deneau, Tatar, and whoever they're with. I'm going with Lehkonen. I still think you can play that stack. They have decent numbers. Deneau and Tatar do still without Gallagher. They're just not as good as they are with Gallagher. So he's a big loss. There's no doubt about that. I don't think I'm just Xing off Deneau and Tatar. It is a tough matchup for them. with Couturier and Voracek. But first of all, I don't think people are going to have the right combo. So I don't know that you have to worry that much about ownership with Danault and Tatar. I think Suzuki's going to be popular. And I still don't think Armia is going to be popular. He doesn't project well for a lot of people. But in terms of generating chances, like on a per 60 basis, he's actually pretty good. So I like to boost guys like that. And I think he's going to play with Suzuki and Drouin, so even better. He's actually probably one of my favorite guys on the slate compared to where I think their ownership's going to be. If he's 4 or 5% owned on a 2-game slate, I think that's a pretty good edge. I could be dead wrong on the lines. That wouldn't be the first time this week even that I've been dead wrong on some of these lines. Now, going back to the Philly side, I have interest on the other side with Hayes and Farabee and Konechny going up against the Suzuki line. I don't think it's going to be very strong defensively. And I wish we got some clarity on what Philly 3 is going to be like, or if Giroux is going to slot up with Couturier and Voracek. I think that's, they lost the game. They lost the closeout game. Now, this is a winnable game for Montreal. I don't think I'm saying anything ridiculous. Even without Gallagher, they can win one game, then get it to game 7, and then you just have to win one more game. So I think there's a pretty good chance that Philly pulls out the big guns. And so I'm already nervous playing Raffle because he's the optimizer play. He makes that stack much cheaper for 2,600. And Cliffy was talking about he's not terrible, but I think there's some merit in just switching around the line assignments on FC with Giroux on line 1, Raffle goes down to line 4. Who knows what they do with Uwe Kubel and Van Riemsdyk, or if they're even able to play. So I'm not sure on those guys. I would have interest if they were with Derek Grant, though. As Philly 3 as late additions to the lineup, not like where on the other side with Suzuki and Drouin and Armia. I think that's just a good play if they're together. I think as an ownership play, JVR and Uwe Kubel are actually fine if they can play. I could have just missed an injury on them. They might just already be out, but I haven't seen anything on them in a couple days. I just assumed they were in, and then they've gotten scratched 2 times in a row. Not crazy about anyone on the Philly blue line, but I like Sandheim. Hopefully he gets a few more minutes at 4K. He's a good per 60 guy, and if he's getting 20-plus minutes, I'm in for some of that, even if he doesn't slot up on Provorov's pairing. Now, on the Montreal side, I think there's a bunch of options. Kulak, I don't think I'm going to get to a lot of him. He got there with 2 assists last game. Awesome if you played him. I didn't have much of him. I am not relying on points for my... to an extent you are when you're 3,100, but I think Sherrod's going to play a ton of minutes. So I like him for 4,200. He's probably not going to be on a lot of people's rosters, a lot of people's radars or rosters. Shea Weber at 6K and Petrie are the obvious guys for Montreal. And then Mete, I'm probably out on. He just doesn't do much. Third pairing, I get that he gets second power play time, maybe. But I'm probably passing there. So really like Montreal 2, if it's the version that I'm expecting. Armia, Suzuki, Drouin. And then on the other side, got my eye out for what Philly does with their lines. I think you're safe just going Couturier, Giroux, and Voracek. I think you're safe going with the second line if you're not going to be around at lock. If you are going to be around at lock, congrats, because then you can just get the correct lines or whatever Philly puts out as their lines, but those could change before the game even starts, as we've seen a couple times already with Philly. So they can be incredibly annoying. All right, let's go to the other game. If you guys got any questions about anything, feel free to drop them in chat. Or if you think of something later, I'll be in Slack for basically the rest of the day. I've got alerts to my phone anyway, so I can get to something if you guys need it. 2.8 implied total for the Blues, 2.5 for the Canucks. Jake Allen and Jacob Markstrom are your goalies. This has been a higher scoring series than what I thought. It is 3-2 Vancouver. No home team has won a game yet. So they've gone 2 to Vancouver, 2 to St. Louis, and then 1 back to Vancouver. I think the lines on the screen, what we're showing here, Pettersson, JT Miller, and Besser, Horvat, Pearson, and Eriksson, could be Virtanen. I think those are more or less going to be how Vancouver plays this game. Now, things could change if they get down 2-0, but then your stack probably already sucks anyways. So I'm treating it like these are going to be the lines. You're not going to know before lock because this game locks 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes later. I think we're going to see Horvat, Pearson, Eriksson / Virtanen up against O'Reilly, Schwartz, and Perron, and that is a phenomenal matchup for O'Reilly, Schwartz, and Perron. I think that's the right play for Vancouver, I guess, if you can somehow get Pettersson, Miller, and Besser away from them, away from O'Reilly, Schwartz, and Perron, because that line's just been running over everyone. So I mean, St. Louis 1 is by far the best play on the slate for me, I think. Even if they go up against Pettersson, Miller, and Besser, it's not like they're elite defensively. I think it would be a little bit worse matchup. But yeah, I am just all over St. Louis 1 here. I think they're probably the most likely line to stay together. They're generating points. They are finishing at a good rate. The underlying numbers are even better than like their performance, their actual results. So they're just on another level for any other line on the slate for me. And then I think so. Okay, Vancouver first home game, game 3. Tanev on second line and Edler is the first. Edler's top pairing, and then Hughes and Tanev usually play together. That's what I would consider the second pairing, but it's really top 4, and then no one else matters. Troy Stetcher does not matter, so I'd rather play Fontenberg over Troy Stetcher. The only reason Troy Stetcher is not 2,500 is because he's probably going to play 20 minutes if he's with Edler. He doesn't do much of anything. I was talking about Vancouver. Game 3, they matched Pettersson, Miller, Besser against O'Reilly, and did not work out well for them. Game 4, they matched Horvat against O'Reilly, Schwartz, and Perron. That was, if I remember correctly, that was a game the game was a little bit closer. Maybe they were both close. Anyways, they lost both of them. Vancouver did. So it's not like, it would be nice where if we knew like, all right, they won one of the games and they did this, then I think there would be a better chance of knowing how they're actually going to match up here. I think it's going to be Horvat against O'Reilly, Schwartz, and Perron. That's a really good matchup for O'Reilly, Schwartz, and Perron, because that line just doesn't have good numbers. With Eriksson, with Virtanen, it doesn't matter. Other lines on the Blues, I kind of like the third line, Thomas Sanford and Sammy Blais. I think they're better than the Vancouver depth. One guy I'm one-offing a little bit is Gaudette. We don't know for sure if he's going to be in the lineup. He was in the lineup last game, so I'm assuming he's in for now, but Vancouver's been scratching guys randomly, and then we've been getting some guys that are said to be scratched and they end up in the lineup. So just keep an eye out for that. They're just not going to play a lot of minutes. This Vancouver third line, I guess you call them. They really played like the fourth line last game. And then Beagle, Mott, and whoever they're with, played like the third line. Yeah, this slate really is all about St. Louis 1 for me. I like Vancouver as well. I'm more, I like the Pettersson line. I think they're going to get the better spot. But they're really expensive, and I don't prefer them over St. Louis 1 unless the ownership discrepancy is huge. However, I don't see that being the case with pretty similar pricing. Vancouver being the home team here, people gravitate more to home teams. And then they're really the only line that people like stacking anyways. People don't like stacking the Horvat, Pearson, and Eriksson / Virtanen line. And I don't really love full stacking that line at 5-on-5 anyways in this game, assuming they're going up against O'Reilly, Schwartz, and Perron. So it's really the top two lines here, and then I think I'm going to be above the field on St. Louis 3. I have been for most of the games in this series, and it hasn't worked out for me well, but I still think they've got the advantage on their depth, even though they're like St. Louis is missing a couple of guys too. Defenseman, talked about him a little bit, but Edler, I love for 5,700. I'm terrible with award names. Hobie Baker, is that AHL MVP? I know Gaudette was an AHL star. I think that's right. I could be sounding really dumb right now. I don't know the names. I know the Hart Trophy and the Selke, but I'm so bad with these names. Oh, college. So he's the MVP in his senior year, or the year before he went to the draft, I guess. I don't know necessarily which year that was. I usually just worry about guys once they get to the NHL. So that's the excuse for not knowing these awards. I should know that award name, though. Edler, 5,700, playing massive minutes. St. Louis has been carrying play. He's going to go up against O'Reilly, Schwartz, and Perron. This isn't something you think about too much, but like the block shot equity for a guy like Edler who's willing to do it and is going to be stuck on the O'Reilly line, which is generating a ton of shots. I mean, hard to imagine Edler doesn't get to the block shot bonus here if these matchups go the way that they go. So, I don't know. I mean, he hasn't gotten it the last two games, but he had 7, 5, and 4 blocks. I know blocks can be a little bit random, and you need more than blocks at 5,700 anyways. But I greatly prefer him as a one-off to Hughes, so I think they're priced correctly on DraftKings. I'm on a 2-game slate. I'm more okay one-offing Hughes, although I think a lot of the lineups, just by the way I make lineups, I think a lot of my Hughes exposure will come with Vancouver stacks in some form or fashion, just because I'll have some power play stacks for Vancouver and Vancouver 1, and he's the guy that goes a little bit better with them. Yeah, Tanev, both produce at a similar rate. I mean, I would give the edge to Edler for sure, but for their prices, I think they're both solid plays. I really do. Tanev played 24 minutes last game. That's nothing to sneeze at for 4,100. And he's another guy that can block shots. So if you think the Blues are going to carry play, and I think they will, outside of when Pettersson, Miller, and Besser are on the ice, then, you can target some guys that are going to eat some shots. On the Blues blue line, Pietrangelo, I think, is the best defenseman on the slate. He's also the highest priced. He's going to probably be maybe my most exposed player. I'm fine one-offing him. And he's got the clearest path to success. Going to play a bunch with O'Reilly at 5-on-5, I would imagine. And then top power play duties, like he's fully cemented in that role. Parayko at 5,600, it would be more of a spend up to be contrarian play. I know, we're worried about the minutes, and you should worry about the minutes, but he played under 22 games ago. Last game he played 21 and a half. That's fine for 5,600 if he's going to be relatively low owned. Just because with a guy like that, you're hoping he gets multiple points or get the combo meal or something like that, and he does have that in him. So I think his upside is actually still pretty high, even not on the top power play and not playing 25 minutes a night. Like, I'm so comfortable playing Parayko. Vince Dunn took a bunch of shots last game. I think he had 7 attempts, so you like to see that. However, him and Falk, just the minutes with them, you never really know. So I think I have shared. No, actually, I don't have much of Falk. Actually, Falk's been playing 20 minutes. He just doesn't really do much. Dunn's minutes go up and down more than anyone. So his last few games for Dunn, or every game in the series so far, 18, 14, 22, 14, and just under 16. So he's just all over the place. I don't really know what to do with Dunn. Like, if you're going with St. Louis 3 and you need a cheap defenseman for that secondary power play time, I suppose you could go to him. But it's really just kind of a lottery ticket with the rest of these St. Louis defensemen. They've got Scandella, Bertuzzo, and really those two guys are the super cheap ones. I prefer Scandella, but I get it. If you want to go with Bertuzzo over Scandella, I'm not going to argue with anyone. Or Fantenberg and Jordy Ben. Do what you want with those guys. I don't have a ton of interesting things to say about them. So I think that's going to do it for the slate. No ownership projections just yet, but we've got plenty of time to get to those. Alex will have those out, I'm sure. Maybe by the time you guys listen to this, the show will go up on pod, on the Awesemo NHL channel and the Awesemo DFS channel. So if you guys aren't subscribed to that, we do have separate podcast feeds for every sport as well as the main channel. So if you're subscribed to the main channel and you want everything, perfect. But you can also subscribe to the specific channels as well. So it'll just search on Apple Podcast or Spotify, Awesemo, so-and-so, DFS, whatever sport you're looking for, PGA, NASCAR, MMA, whatever it is. Is the play for goalies just correlating with your stacks today? Nah, not necessarily. Like, I think Price could have a huge performance as a one-off guy, but on a 2-game slate, Hart's cheap. I just don't know how many shots he's going to see is the question that I would have with Hart. That would be the issue, but I think definitely all the goalies are in play. There's absolutely no one I would cross off on a 2-game slate. No matter how bad of a play I thought they were, anyone can get a shutout in this league and completely wreck a 2-gamer. So, yeah, I would allow maybe a player or two against your goalie. If you're building with an optimizer, if you're hand building, I wouldn't shy away from that. But the goalies that I'm going to have the most of tonight are probably, let me see here. It's hard to say. We don't have ownership. I actually do have a decent amount of Hart. I think I might need to bump him down, though, because without Gallagher in the lineup, that's a lot of shot attempts you're not facing. Anyways, I have a bunch of Jake Allen as well, but I'm still right now mid-teens on Price and Markstrom as well. So I'm gonna have a little bit of everyone. I think I'm playing 100 lineups on DraftKings. I don't know if I'm playing on FanDuel. I don't know if I'll have the time. Without Gallagher, also less chance of scoring. That is a very good point. Unless Nick Suzuki is doing the thing, which maybe he will again tonight. That's all I got. Not sure about shows next week because it's going to be a ton of 2-gamers. At some point, 2-gamers just get really boring to continue to talk about, and it becomes pretty formulaic. But just wanted to make sure we had something out for today. You can still use projections, ownership projections, all that stuff. We'll have that throughout the playoffs. Slack chat is also huge, especially on these small slates. If you can get guys that are low owned, surprise ins, guys that are high owned, that are surprise scratches, that's going to be huge edges, and Slack, our premium Slack chat is great for that. So if you want to join, there's your incentive to do so. You can also ask me, DM me about packages or anything if you have questions. My Twitter DMs are open. You guys are, I would say 99% of the time, very nice and cordial. So no reason for me to close them anytime soon. All right, guys. Good luck on the slate. Good luck this weekend. Hopefully we can get a couple game sevens here. Good luck.